Alright gang, welcome to the first Cyberhub related homework or assignment. So this screen should be familiar with, you should be familiar with it at this point because you've already, in theory, followed the directions and got access to your account, went in and grabbed a screenshot of what it looks like inside. So when I click on it, I'm able to get in, and sometimes it takes a little bit to resolve my account and get everything set up for me. But as it's doing that, let's talk about what we're going to do. So given that this is an Active Directory course, I want you to, and we're using this enterprise security lab environment. So we've got the 3 machines. With that said, the expectation at this point is that you've read through the content for the first 3 modules, so the first 3 chapters and the text, everything that we've covered in the first 3 modules. The videos that I provided to give you insight into what things look like inside these systems. Now, right here we have Start Nodes. And if I click this, this will spin up all 3 of the nodes. If I only wanted to start up one individually, I would click here or here. Now, Server 01, my intent is to use that for 2792 and all 3 of them for 2793. If you're in both classes, you're going to be using all 3 of them. If you're in 2792, you'll probably just use Server 01 and Client 01. We'll deal with those in the individual videos for each course. I don't want to get any confusion for anybody that's in just the 2793. So for just 2793, what we're dealing with today in this first Cyberhub task, I should say it's the second Cyberhub task. The first one, you got to this point and you grabbed a screenshot where I could see this. Now here we are at the second task, and you have access to these. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start them. The first time you spin them up, it may take a minute or 2. But once you have spun them up, you've allocated the resources for you and you've defined what they are, it won't take you long to access them or get them started. Now, one of the things that you need to know is that these virtual machines, we've got 3 virtual machines. Anything that you do to these virtual machines persists. What that means is, when you come back, let's say I log out, 3-4 days from now I come back and I log back in, everything will be the exact same way it was when I left. That's what I mean by it persists. It stays even after I've shut it down. Now, there's some conditions to that. The conditions essentially are that you haven't reset anything. So if I closed it down, started it up and hit reset, well, that wipes everything clean and takes it back to the way that it was initially. So if you, for lack of better words, if you mess up the configuration of one of these machines, that wipes out, for you to be able to reset that one machine, you'll destroy the lab. You've got to reallocate the lab, and that starts from fresh, if you will. So be cautious in everything you do in these labs when you're changing parameters or settings in here. Because if you do it wrong, you're going to have to undo whatever you've done, or you got to start over from scratch. So document what you do and how you do it. Something bad happens, let me know. We'll do a screen share and try to walk through the resolution of whatever it is. But the main thing is, be clear in what you're going to do before you do it. Be cautious in what you click on and what's associated with that click event. When we go through the different tasks in these systems, it's difficult to accidentally click on something and something bad happen. It gives you warnings. There are steps in between. So are you sure you want to do that? So be cautious. I can't emphasize enough, be cautious in what you're doing. So what are we going to do in this first assessment? Well, I want you to go in and look and see what we're dealing with. You can see some things here. You see the IP addresses for the devices, but I want you to go and document what it is that we're dealing with. What is the configuration of these systems? Okay. Now, let's go connect to server 01. That's going to say open Windows PowerShell. Absolutely, that's our connection to RDP into this device. I don't want it to ask me again because I'm going to keep doing the same thing. So now I'm doing a remote connection. Our login, administrative credentials, to log into any of these machines, by default is admin 123. Write that down. Admin, and the password is 123. That's the administrator account. Over time, we'll go through and create more accounts, and you'll have to document what the credentials are for those, because you may need to go log into a client as a user, not admin, to test to see what you've done. Does it work? Does it not work? What do you have access to? Okay. So there's going to be a lot of documentation that you're going to have to do associated with what we do in these labs and what we do in this course. So document everything that you do in this first assignment. So we say, okay, I want to access this virtual machine, and it's logging me in, and it's essentially just spun up a virtual machine for me, and I've got my desktop here for a virtual machine. I can minimize it. Now here it is. That's this one running. If I wanted to spin up the client or the other server, I can do that. I can have them all running at one time. Now there was a setting that I mentioned previously to allow you to share windows. So you can take this and you can drag it elsewhere as needed, but we'll deal with that later. So what I want you to do on this one, we'll go ahead and maximize this. I want you to look and see what's going on with this server. So we can click on that server and we can come in here, and this is WinServer 01. And I see remote desktops enabled, remote management's enabled. I have turned off this Defender firewall. I want you to do the same. So you'll click on that icon, on that link there, and for each of the different machines, the virtual machines we have, I want you to do this. I want you to turn off domain network. I want you to turn off public network, the firewalls. Just turn those firewalls off so that at this point we can have the machines talk to one another. Now, once you've done that, we can go ahead and close that or click down. We can go in and then explore, go look in each one of these links to see what the current status of this system is. It says work group. We're a member of a work group. And if I click on it, we see what's going on, what the computer name is, and what the work group is. Are we a member of a domain? You got to figure that out. You got to go through and look and see. Does a domain exist? Some of the things you can do, you can come down here and type in CMD, run a command prompt, ipconfig/alt. Tell me about this machine. So you can get some information here. Here's some stuff. Document what's going on. It's a DNS server, 10.205.1 and then 15. And here's our IPv4. There's a gateway that we're using to get out. Okay. So we've got some data there. What else can we look at relative to this system? So go through, play around with it. Go look to see what's going on. What's happened in here. Let's say manage. And go ahead and I want to say remove roles and features. Before I go, I want to go look at it, go through, don't do an install, but go through and look and see what's taking place in here. You can see the different configurations, what roles exist. It's not DNS. There's not much going on in here. Okay. We don't see any Active Directory going on in here. So what I want you to do is go through for this system, WinServer 02 and WinClient 01. Go into those devices and document the current configuration of those machines, all three of them. Are there any users or groups created? If there are, document them. Are there default user accounts or anything? If there are, document it. Is DNS set up? What's the DNS server? Is there anything Active Directory created already associated with that particular machine? As you go through what you're exploring and documenting, document it with screenshots. Just go grab a screenshot and put it into a document, a Word document. And as you're going through this Word document, here's a section for WinClient 01. Here's a section for WinServer 01. Here's a section for WinServer 2. And here's what I was doing and a picture of what it looked like. Here's what I was doing and what I found and a picture of what it looked like. Okay? That's it. That's it. Okay. So, go through and do that. I'll have the assignment posted here shortly, and you'll be good to go. If you got any questions, pop into the discussion or send me a message in Canvas.